Saturday. That's right. So it's been a while, hasn't it? It's been a couple of weeks. Obviously, a week yesterday, I was off getting a crown put in as part of the last step in the oral surgery odyssey that I have to endure before I can start the bone treatment. And then yesterday, yesterday it's been a week of ups and downs, and mostly ups. But I mean, I just obviously had to have scans done on Tuesday because there was some pain. Scans came back, showed that the masses, the tumors, shrinking, spine, abdomen, all good. Great positive steps. They're never going to go away. The cancer's not going to go away until they find a cure, because there is no cure for this motherfucker, not at the stage that I'm at. But it's positive. So the pain I've been going through recently is actually part of the healing process of, nerve clusters that were kind of bunched up and pressed up and couldn't really be doing anything, and now sort of like expanding again because the tumors are shrinking. And they're like, oh, disco fingers, let's party, yes. And so they're exercising their constitutional right to send sensations to all parts of my body, and some of those include pain receptors. So that's a good thing. The other good thing is I've been working out a lot. Strength training, exercise, bike, walking. Now, some of you will say, oh, well, that's not actually a lot, but I've been doing at least half an hour of one of the three every day. And considering before that, I wasn't really doing much at all. So I was kind of sedentary with regards to, post bypass and everything. It has upped my energy output, combined with my body fighting the cancer, combined with the side effects from the miracle cancer drugs. And yesterday, and so the side effects from the miracle cancer drugs, as I've said before, fatigue, and insomnia. And then you throw in the hot flashes, where I literally go through menopause and I get all sweaty for no reason, normally every 90 minutes. So when I'm asleep in bed and I wake up because I'm on fire, it combines to not letting me sleep much. So I think I had one good night's sleep in the last 7 in particular. So then you got that with the increased energy output, and it just, something was gonna give. And yesterday I could just barely move. I just barely get out of bed. So I did spend, because I got up yesterday morning and I did my exercise, I did my strength training, and I came back and I was like, so that's why I didn't do the show yesterday. So my apologies for that, but here I am. So here we are. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being patient. I hope your weeks have gone well. It's Saturday morning. I've got the Brighton and Arsenal game on. The big soccer game tomorrow, obviously, is Liverpool versus Man City, and we will be cheering on Liverpool, won't we? With the exception of Ray-Bad, who is probably off watching the game, or he's probably recovering. I actually got to hang out with Ray Padilla last week, and our good friend Paul Semmel, which was nice. Sorry, excuse me. So yes, what am I going to talk about? Well, What If is heading towards an unlikely climax. That particular Marvel series, which, as you know, I've ragged on for a long time, seems to be coming together in one Master Strand collecting MacGuffin that's determined. It's like they listened to what I had to say and they said, haha, keep going, white man, we're going to fuck you over. And it does seem that the last 2 episodes, which one went on from the other, you had What If Thor didn't learn to be a hero, and then you had What If Ultron had the Vision's body, and What If Ultron won, I think it was, basically, and then got the Infinity Stones. I mean, the way he sliced Thanos in half was, spoilers, but it's been out since Wednesday. Come on, people. So yeah, we're going to have a big, we have a big denouement coming this week, this Wednesday on Disney Plus. And yes, I am hydrating like crazy on Disney Plus on What If, when we've already seen the Stephen Strange character come back. And what if now we are looking at the Marvel Zombies and a lot of other things all being pulled together to defeat Ultron? It's very intriguing, and a stronger end to the season than I thought was possible, because I was very down on this, and I have been still down on the first 5 or 6 episodes because they weren't really satisfying to me. But anyway, that one's good. And hello, Bull3T, Sundancer, Sublevel. Thank you for joining. I know it's Saturday and you've probably got better things to do. I certainly don't. I am happy being in here, locked away from the COVID-ridden world. So, are we all caught up on Ted Lasso? All right. I hope we are all caught up on Ted Lasso, because this obviously last week's episode was the emotional father's funeral scene for the Rebecca character, Hannah Waddington. I mean, and by the way, Ted Lasso's Emmys totally deserved, by the way. Of course I'm biased. I mean, come on. Richmond till I die, right? Woo! In fact, I should put this on to talk Ted Lasso every time now, even though next week is the season finale. Sundancer, you don't know what Ted Lasso is? Oh my, you can't be that unplugged. Come on. All right, so yes, Ted Lasso, the last 2 episodes. I mean, this season has been a bit of an up and down. Oof. Sudeikis has said, and it's been quoted here, that this season was going to be like The Empire Strikes Back, and he's not been wrong. We had our Lando moment yesterday. I mean, last week we, said goodbye to, there was the emotional funeral, and we dug more into Ted's insecurities and Ted's, the reason Ted is why he's Ted and some of the issues he has. And then on the show that hit on late night Thursday, early Friday, Ted was royally stabbed in the back. And you could see something like that has been coming, and it's leading to a final episode. I mean, it was not et tu Brute, it was et tu Nate. But you've seen that's coming for a while. Little Nate has gone from the little guy who could in the first season, and we were all cheering because he was so plucky, into somebody who's embracing entitlement and cockiness and believing in himself a little too much. And it comes from not having any support from his family over the years. And I understand that. I mean, I'm not saying I've never had anything from my family. Far from it. I'm just saying you could see why Nate's acting out the way he is. But yeah, the next episode of Ted Lasso. Hello, Mr. Sinclair. With regards to, hang on, somebody's in on the Discord. I'll call that up. Okay, there you go. So, all right, what was on the back of the jersey? There you go. The Ted Lasso #1 jersey, which unfortunately is a little tight, so it's a medium and I'm an extra large, so the wife's having it. But I am going to get the Ted Lasso, the wool sweaters that Ted wears. I'm actually going to get one of those, and I'm going to wear it with the white hat, and I'm going to get a pair of khaki pants, and I'm going to go do Halloween as Ted Lasso. Shave this off, maybe put a little Just for Men dye in this and grow it out a little bit bushy, and I'm going to be Ted Lasso. I think that's the plan. Yes, so this show is just building to a crescendo next week. The team are on the cusp of automatic promotion back to the Premier League, which is freaking awesome, even though we've missed out on a lot of that, and we haven't seen a lot of the players' stories outside of Sam, really, and the occasional bit of Jamie Tart. Danny Rojas in fluffy house bunny slippers last week was pretty funny, though. So yes, this show is building, and I guarantee you next week's episode is going to piss people off, make people exceptionally happy, make people cry, and make people laugh. And there are people who are slagging this show off for the way it's turned out this season. And yes, I am a little bit biased, I admit it, and not because they sent me a lovely swag box. I am in love with the show because it's growing. The first season worked and did what it did and was the right place, right time to get us through the pandemic. It was sweet and divide expectations. We weren't expecting this American guy to go over there and just genuinely have no agenda other than to do his job and be nice to people. And then every perception that we had was turned on his head. We didn't expect Keely to turn out to be smart and sweet when she came across as initially this sort of like vapid bimbo-y character. We thought that the Rebecca character would be the Ice Queen bitch, and she's turned into this warm person. Every character has grown into 3 dimensions. Roy Kent has, he's become a fucking legend. I mean, the fact that Hannah Waddington and Brett Goldstein won for the Emmys in comedy shows how much those characters grew. And even Higgins is another one that's grown. Nate is another one that's grown into the fucking Frankenstein's monster. And Coach Beard has had his moments. And that's the beauty of Ted Lasso. It really is an ensemble show. And it's something that everybody can enjoy. I mean, honestly, if you don't enjoy the sports side of it, you don't have to. I mean, the sports is minimal. It's actually a great comedy drama, and it's evolved beyond most of those. It's basically a slice of life, and can't wait for the season to culminate next week, and then I'll be gutted that it's gone. But they start back on season 3 in January, so that'll be good. Richmond till I die. All right, so I know a lot of you are in here not for my Ted Lasso critiques or what if. I'm going to talk about some game stuff, and let's talk about Konami. And this is, again, a little tangent, but it's actually kind of connected. International Superstar Soccer that became Pro Evo Soccer, that became eSoccer 2021 from Konami. Now, if you have access to a web-based device and you go to Kotaku or anywhere else, or even Twitter, and search eSoccer 2021, you will see some of the worst character models outside a PlayStation 1 game. That's how bad they are. And this is for and look, this burns me because this is from a game that was, without a doubt, the greatest soccer game on the planet in its heyday. And I'm talking about, in particular, Super NES days, early PlayStation days. Super NES, it was International Superstar Soccer. It was far and away the best footy game. Worked really, really well, really fluid. Didn't have all the licenses FIFA had. Didn't need it. Great arcade soccer. And it was perfect, just fun. Boop, 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 scores, amazing goals. Was it Pancheka kits? Pachinko? I don't know. Anyway, banana kicks, as we like to say. It was just amazing. And then in the early PlayStation era, again, with limited licenses, it still kicked FIFA's ass because FIFA was what FIFA got better, but FIFA has gone through several slumps over the years. And it became Pro Evo, which was the Japanese title, with regards to it being ISS everywhere else. Bear with me. I'm waffling. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm a little bit sleepy. But still, it was one of the best games because it didn't have all the super faff that, unfortunately, EA has really integrated into all its games now, because more is more, and more is more because more is going to make people buy more. And if they buy more packs, and the packs are great because obviously we'll sell the software, but then we'll also sell the actual packs and the packs that are not real packs, the virtual packs, and it's money for a bunch of fucking pictures and some data, and we go, oh, $1 billion, oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. And in the meantime, FIFA, much like Madden, I'm told, because a lot of people are unhappy with Madden, has become an unplayable mess. You can only play FIFA, and play it well and get enjoyment out of it if you've played it for the last 5 or 6 years, because the incremental increases have been, they've been every year. But I've gone in, I played the last FIFA, and relatively good with the idea of soccer. I know offside traps, I know rules, long, short passing, etc., etc. But FIFA has become too finicky. Well, you have to do this, this, and this to run with the ball, and then you have to do that to do a through ball, and then you have to stick your leg up in the air to do a volley, and then you can do the step over while doing this, and it's just ridiculous. It's taken, for anybody who doesn't have the manual dexterity of an octopus, i.e. anybody like me, it's taking all the fun out of the game, which sucks because, I know you'll say, you can play this on easy mode, but you play it on easy mode and you're winning every game 17, 18-0. There's no fun in that. All right, well, play it on the next level up. And then the next level up is such a jump that you go from 17 or 18-0 to losing 3-0. Because there's nothing in between. There's no mode in FIFA where it's just like simple football. Pass, long pass, short pass, through ball, shoot. Hard tackle, low tackle, slide tackle, shoulder charge. Boom, boom, boom. That would be great. That would actually be wonderful. And then I might be more interested in it. But anyway, I go back to Pro Evo because I digress. Didn't mean this to become a critique of FIFA. But yeah, Pro Evo then started to fall by the wayside. So they tried to match FIFA, and they couldn't match the amount of licenses and all that other stuff was being thrown at it. And the game started to regress, it's very much mirrored Konami's decline, because 10, 15 years ago, Konami was one of the biggest names in the business, especially on PS3, PS2, PS1, 2, and 3. That was Konami's heyday. They had Metal Gear Solid. They had Silent Hill. They had Castlevania. They had Pro Evo. I mean, people were lining up to get into their booths at E3 and play the latest Konami game. I mean, it was, DDR. It came and went, but it was just like, wow. And then Konami just vanished into a puff of its own hubris, as happens with a lot of companies. And like I said, Pro Evo became unplayable, became dull and repetitive. And now they've rebranded it in this eSoccer 2021. And it's being ridiculed from pillar to post by everybody. And that's just sad to see something that was once great and super popular, see it fall to a level where it's just irrelevant. I mean, basically, I am that game. I'm kidding. But it's kind of fun. It's like, in my late 30s, early 40s, I had a show and it was 250,000 viewers a week on this, that, and the other, and we were great. And we had NBC. And then a decade later, I'm like, I'm, kind of shit. But I'm kidding. Or am I? But yes, Konami. So this game is very disappointing to me. To see it that bad is really disappointing. But an interesting report leaked yesterday. It's not a report as such. It's from a site that got picked up by another site. So let's see how much salt we pinch to take with this report. But the rumor is Konami's planning a comeback. Fuck knows how. Where they're getting their money from, I have no idea. If you know where Konami gets its money, please put it in the comments. Hello, Blandwork TV. Hi, EDH420. Simon Sinclair, RPG. Let's see. Sorry. There you go. The Einchecker. I hope I got that right. Windswept Dragon. There you go. So I'm just coming back. I just want to say hi to everybody. where was I? Konami. Yes. So apparently Konami are bringing back. They've got 3 different Metal Gear games in development, all remakes of the classic Metal Gear games, because they think that people will not buy a Metal Gear game if a new Metal Gear game if Kojima's not involved, and that might be right. I mean, who knows? So those games are going to get remade, jazzed up with graphics, and brought out. Great, you know me. I like the nostalgia trip. I love it when quality old games, and I love the first couple of Metal Gear games on the PlayStation. In fact, I mean that little noise it made when you discovered the and hiding in the box, and before it got got a little too fucking off the reservation. Confession: never played a Silent Hill. It's just always been a little too creepy for me, but I know a lot of people are doing that. So apparently those are games are being remade too. The Castlevania games are being rebooted and retooled because, bizarrely enough, the Netflix cartoon series for Castlevania has reignited the public's interest in the game, which I call bullshit on. I mean, people have always been interested in Castlevania. People have always been interested in Silent Hill, in Metal Gear Solid, in so many of Konami's key franchises. The problem is Konami has mismanaged them because, again, much like many companies, they have lived on their own hubris, and they've lived on the goodwill generated. They've lived in the past, and it's caught up, and they've become irrelevant. So I'm hoping, for the sake of everybody who loves good video games and everybody who loves Metal Gear Solid, Silent Hill, Pro Evo, International Superstar Soccer, Castlevania, I hope these games are going to come back, even if they start off to reintroduce audiences to these franchises in a great way, because I know we got the Metal Gear Solid movie coming with what's his name, Poe Dameron. So it would be good to have Konami back, but it would be good to have a Konami that isn't full of itself, a Konami that doesn't have its head buried so far up its ass. The shoulders are missing too. Konami has had a reputation, a well-deserved reputation in the industry of not being easy to work with, being quite snooty, being quite full of itself. And pride, it doth come before a fall, and Konami did fall. So I'm hoping that these games and then rebooted forms come back, because it will be good for the industry and good for everybody, and it puts monies in Konami's coffers. And who knows, maybe PT will see the light of day. Obviously, that was the demo that came out, and then nobody then was cancelled, and everybody was furious because the demo was so good. Again, wasn't a Silent Hill player, didn't play PT, but I saw a lot of people back at Game Trailers playing it over and over. And they seem to love it. And if you have something that people love, then put it out there. Sorry, just looking at the chat. Sorry, I've got the football going in the corner here, and it's like, oh well, no, it's just highlights from earlier. So yeah, that's my view on Konami, and that is something that could actually be said for a lot of companies. I mean, EA. Some of the things they get right, like Mass Effect Legendary and lots of other bits and bobs, they could really look at reworking FIFA, NHL, and Madden, and they have some great games in reserve that they could actually bring out as new IPs today. Not new IPs, but reinvigorate those IPs and make people really happy if they're done well, and they don't have to be fucking all the bells and whistles in the world, but there are games out there. Where's my Road Rash? Where's my Jungle Strike? That's what I want to know. I mean, even those games just upresed to a certain degree and released as $14.99, sort of 8-bit or 16-bit remasters would be absolutely fantastic, by the way. Thank you, Mr. Grimshaw, for the Sorry, I'm gonna have to retweet that out in a second. Grimshaw captured some of the chat in here and put it on Twitter, and it's fucking hysterical. Oscar Isaac, yes, that's it. He's playing Solid Snake. So anyway, yes, High Stage Select. Good to see you. So yeah, that would. Did I finish my rant on Konami? I did. Yes, I want Konami to succeed. I want them to be nicer. I want their games to be better. I want everybody's games to be better. I want everybody to be nicer. That's what I want. Because the only people I want to see fail are the assholes, the ones who don't deserve it. Because you can have success and you don't want to stay humble, then you need a kick in the balls, and you need to be taken down a peg or two. And that's all. That's all I ask of this universe. But I'm not wanting. There's so many good companies out there, so many people trying to do it the right way, and I want to see them rewarded. And if Konami are going to do this the right way, and if they make themselves more accessible, and look, you're going to run the risk of pissing anybody off at any time, because we do have so many toxic gamers out there. But yeah, it'd be nice to see them back. It wouldn't be nice to see the remakes of those games come out and do well. We're also maybe looking at remasters of Grand Theft Auto, Vice City, GTA 3, and San Andreas, apparently, according to something that leaked out of Korea and has been all over the interwebs over the last day or so. So there's been some really good news, some interesting news, because obviously GTA Vice City is still one of the coolest games to see that up-resed and everything. I've never really been a fan of San Andreas. But yeah, Vice City, that timeline, that whole Scarface vibe that, we will never get from the Scarface game, because that'll never come out again because of licensing issues. The music alone would be an absolute fucking disaster. But yeah, wouldn't that be great? And I know it's nostalgia and we want to be looking forward and everything, but we can't we can't always look forward, especially when we're still in the current situation. And Microsoft is warning that there'll be no new Xboxes really. The supplies shortage will go through until next year. And Sony's kind of admitting the same privately, because they just can't get everything into the supply chain quick enough. And then you get the likes of Amazon doing the price gouge, which they're still doing. Which should be investigated, and they should be fined $1 billion a day, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. So, yeah. Sorry, spaced. Totally fucking spaced. Yeah, so while we can't all access. Sorry, I just went totally blank for a minute on what I'd actually been talking about. Because we can't access these brand new games unless, I get them on the PC. I'm lucky, but I don't get access on the PlayStation 5 or the new Xbox. If we can't have those, then at least remastering some classic games and bringing them up to a certain level is a great way of giving us content and making us happy. Mass Effect Legendary Edition really sort of set the bar for that one. And long may it continue. I want to see more. Hello, Sebastian. How are you? Hi, Pseudokurian. Yeah, look, Amazon is useful, especially, during the pandemic. Amazon was useful because it got us stuff. But the problem is the money's going to the wrong people. Yes, Jeff Bezos founded the company and had the vision and expanded it. But yes, he's also a predatory businessman who rips off other people's models and brands, and has a bunch of mercenaries and doesn't pay his staff well enough. Killing any potential short-term career with Amazon here, but I don't care. Yes, they are useful. We try to use them less and less. We really do. We've, now we can go back out. We're trying to shop local more and support local people where we can, when money's not super tight. But yeah, Amazon needs to be reined in. Amazon needs to be looked at, as to so many other companies, Facebook, Twitter, and Apple, with regards to their practices. To be honest with you, just to name but four. Apple, Facebook, Twitter, Amazon. That's right. That's four. I counted it. But I mean, living wage, you have to pay a living wage. But to go back to the pandemic, it wasn't Amazon and Jeff Bezos that got us through it. It's the Amazon delivery drivers. It's those buggers and other people working at the processing centers who were working obscene hours. Now we're learning. These are the people who need to be looked after because they're the ones who get our shit into the boxes and make sure we've got them. They're the people who need to be looked after. Because again, maybe dying, but I'm still a fucking filthy socialist, and I believe in equality for everybody, and I believe that everybody deserves a living wage, a roof over their head, power, the internet, water, food in their bellies, good level of education. That's what they deserve. That's what everybody on this planet should have. And when you have too much money, that you end up pissing it away on penis extension fucking space rockets, then the tax man needs to come and go, I'm just going to take all that money and I'm going to put it into roadways, into education, into this, that, and the other. And I'm going to leave you with enough to buy a Lego fucking rocket. Go off and make your next couple of billion and we'll take it again. You don't need 20 houses. You don't need a mega fucking yacht. Fuck off. Oh. All right, so there you go. Give me some topics. I've been going for half an hour. I'm actually, as you can tell, I'm actually going okay today. Got up at a decent time, had a relatively good sleep. My good lady made me paleo pancakes this morning. They were chocolate and raspberry, and they were delicious and moderate, actually quite healthy. And I'm drinking my water. We may go out for a coffee in a minute because I haven't left the house really, apart from going to the gym and to the hospital for about a week. Ooh. Next week, we're probably going to try and catch a late showing of Venom, Let There Be Carnage, even though it's got some bad reviews. I hate watch the first one. And whenever it's on, for some reason, I start hate watching it all over again. How you can have such a great cast and a shit story is beyond me. And then No Time to Die. And if you are in a territory that has got No Time to Die, which is the new Bond movie, do not tell me any spoilers because I will cry. Because I'm looking forward to this one. I'm going to go watch it. We'll find a way, even if I have to figure out a way to hire a bloody cinema for for one showing and get all my, get like 10 of our vaccinated friends in and we all chip in $50 or whatever it'll take. Because there's so doom and gloom. This is my mindset right now. So bear with me. Okay. I'm going to go dark for a minute. There is every chance that this is the last new James Bond film I will ever see. I know I'm getting a little bit. Sorry to go a little bit dark, but this is the stuff that hops into my head now. But if you think about it, they haven't cast a new Bond yet. This one will come out. It'll have its run on, in the cinema, and then go to streaming and Blu-ray, and then they will, even though they're probably working on it and everything, we're probably looking at least 3, maybe 4 years before we're looking at a new Bond. And while there's an outside chance that I'm going to be here, the odds to go at the Hunger Games are not going to be in my favor. So I want to enjoy this one with no spoilers. I want to enjoy it on a big screen. I want to enjoy it in a cinema where nobody's wearing that nobody is flouting mask laws and everybody's hopefully vaccinated. And I want to have popcorn and soda and a great experience. And it's a really strange way to think of these things. And it's like I said, sorry, I'm going dark, but this is my life now. This is my head. I'll be like reading something and be, oh, that was a good book. What's next? Oh, I better read that one. Before I don't want to, have bought that and then just go before I've read it. Or TV series. I mean, the other thing we're going to talk about is Doctor Who. And this is one of the things that got me thinking about it. Russell T Davies, who brought Doctor Who back in 2005, is returning as the showrunner. He's probably hard at work already. He doesn't technically take over until next year. but he's back for the 60th anniversary, which I believe is next year. And it just got me thinking that, these shows that are pop culture that have been a huge part of my life, they will continue. And it's great that they're going to continue and that people are going to bring their new visions. And the same with the games and everything. And it just, all of a sudden, my brain goes off down to this, holy shit. I mean, I am on the cosmic timeline. I am one half of one tiny speck of sand on a beach that goes on for infinity. And it just gets really fucking weird, man. I mean, the brain just starts going, and it's like, have you contributed anything? I mean, in 50 years' time, is somebody going to stream YouTube into their fucking, holographic glasses and come across one of these old videos? And I'm like, hello, future people. I'm long gone. I don't exist. Because, I mean, you see it now. You see it with actors. I mean, you see it if every time you watch a Sean Connery Bond film, Roger Moore Bond film. They've passed, they've gone on to wherever and what, we don't know. But when you're talking about yourself and trying to accept that reality, it's like, fucking hell. Yeah. Whew. Blandwork, I appreciate your comment about I Will Survive. This is the thing. I have what's on stage 4, prostate cancer. It's metastasized. It's in my bones, my rib cage, my sternum, my pelvis. So I'm about to start the bone strengthening therapy, which is why I was at the dentist last week. If they'd have caught this 2 years ago, if they'd have caught this a year ago, it could be cured, but it's not. So it is literally, and I'm not trying to be a super down on top of everything else. I'm just trying to be totally honest. So please, if you're watching this, men, go get your prostate checked and get your PSA levels checked. Ladies, get mammograms checked. Get the mammograms done early. Get the prostate checks early. Get the PSAs early, because there's no way on this earth that I should have had this cancer develop. None at all. I don't have the genetic chromosome for it. It's not, anything to do with me having been a smoker in the past. It is just like, I am a fucking outlier. Unbelievable. Especially after everything else. And so if I can be an outlier, so can you. I mean, is it environmental? Is it to do with a state of crap in the air, in the water? Who knows? But please get yourself checked. If you're 35 and over and have a history of cancer in the family, get yourself checked. Otherwise, you can probably wait till you're 40. If you've got a history of severe cancer in your family, get checked at 30. Get the PSA levels checked, and get everything checked. Your carotid artery for your heart and plaquing. Get everything done, and that's to the men and the women and the he's, she's, and the theys. Everybody, just binary, non-binary, just get yourself checked, because if somebody's watching this in 10 years time, say or even 15 years or whatever, say the 10th anniversary of me going, and they find this and they say, they watch this and they talk to their friends and said, I went and got checked and we got it early, but I wouldn't have thought to go check if he hadn't got it. Then I'm validated. My entire life is validated. My entire existence, because I've had friends who, since the heart attack and the heart bypass, have gone to more heart healthy diets and are exercising more, and have had the checks needed, and some stuff has been caught, and that's great. And I want to do the same with people to save them from prostate cancer, colon cancer, any and all kinds, because it can fucking strike. It doesn't discriminate. If it discriminated, there'd be all the evil bastards in the world would be getting cancer on their 21st birthday, to be honest with you. But it doesn't discriminate. And if I can just save one, person, or if I can get one person checked and avert save them from going through what I'm going through, what Shauna's going through, then that's great. That is great. High safety is off. Thank you so much for tuning in. So yeah, sorry about that. I'm sorry to go a little verklempt and a little emotional. Cheers. This is just water, by the way. You know, my urge to drink has gone down as well. I mean, I'm heading into probably the driest Christmas in history. It's funny, last year, Shauna and I decided after I'd recovered, excuse me, after I'd recovered from the bypass, that we were of the you can't take it with you frame of mind because of the pandemic and everything. And we decided we were going to enjoy a cocktail a night, a bottle of wine. We opened some stuff that we'd got from our honeymoon trip to France, gift bottles of various things that people had given us, and we had them with amazing dinners, and we cooked, and we just partied from probably October the 1st through to about January the 3rd. And yeah, I mean, it was literally the recycle bins were full of empty bottles, and we lived high on the hog, and we had fun. And it was probably, despite not having family and friends close by, I mean, it was obviously my 50th birthday as well, and our wedding anniversary in the December. It was just one of the best periods of our lives together. And we partied. We had a great Christmas. I mean, Christmas, our whole thing was we got out of bed, had breakfast, watched some TV, opened some presents, had some mimosas, started prepping lunch. We had the appetizers at 1. We had Christmas, the actual main course, I think, at 3, and then dessert at 8, all with lashings of booze. I fell asleep in the afternoon. We watched Wonder Woman 1984 on HBO Max. It sucked. But we had such a great time, and that carried on. I mean, like I said, we didn't see people, but we saw them on Skype, we saw them on Zoom, because there was no vaccination, or the vaccination was very early. And this year we will see some people, thankfully. But yeah, the amount of booze we consumed was biblical. And this year, I think we might have just drunk ourselves dry, because now, yeah. The urge is not there, and maybe when the nights get darker and the decorations go up and things, other things start to happen, I'll get more festive, or we'll get more festive. But last night we were like, oh, let's have a glass of wine to go with our delicious supper. We've switched to a kind of plant-based diet now, because or basic plant-based, where we augment it. And if I'm boring you, please just tell me to shut the fuck up. We switched to this, like I said, plant-based stuff. So we had vegan, paleo, gluten-free macaroni and cheese with chicken, and we cooked some bacon and cut that up in a big fucking salad. We're like, you know what? We got a nice bottle of red here that we've been sitting on for a while. Let's have it. And we opened it. We had 2 glasses, and then we corked it up and put it away again. Yeah, sorry about that. Oof. Oh God. So yeah, so just hoping I discover my my urge to drink. Can't really do much of it with the meds I'm on, unfortunately. But I will have some. Still missing grapefruit. I'm not allowed to have a grapefruit with my chemo meds. It actually says do not consume grapefruit. I mean, who designs a fucking medicine? I mean, you're suffering from a cancer and a prostate cancer, and it's bad enough. The cancer is in such a bad place that you have to take this chemo-related medicine. And the bastards who made it, I mean, yes, obviously they're saving my life, prolonging my life. They couldn't get it right to a degree that allows me to eat my favorite fucking citrus. I love it. I've got a huge grapefruit tree in the backyard. I love grapefruit juice. A vodka and grapefruit juice. is one of my favorite summer drinks. I didn't get to have it this, much of this year. I love a good grapefruit for breakfast. What is up with that? I mean, how vicious a bastard must you be? I mean, I suppose I must be thankful. At least it doesn't say you can't have chocolate, because otherwise that would have been like, fuck that. I'm having the cancer on the chocolate. Kill me now. But it's just funny how you can't have certain things with certain medications. But I think grapefruit has to be the most random thing that you can't have with a medication. Prove me wrong. Let me know in the comments. Just grapefruit. Lemons, limes, oranges, tangerines, any other citrus, totally fine. Grapefruit is out. It says on the fucking label, do not take with grapefruit. Backby, they do have grapefruited gummies probably, but I can't have those either. I can't have grapefruit juice. I can't have even grapefruit soda. There's something that has a small percentage of grapefruit. Yeah, I am grapefruitless. And it's a fucking national travesty. Hello, Windswap Jagan. How you doing? All right. Oh, so stage select with, ooh, look at this. Smarty party in the house. Thank you. It's good to know. It's not going to make me, any more irked that I can't have my grapefruit. Okay. Let's talk about things you want to talk about. Give me questions. If you put them earlier up in the stream, sorry I missed them. But yes, feel free to drop some questions now. All right, so Great Stage Select has just explained to me, and I got to say, this is fantastic. If this is true, wow. Yeah, and I certainly don't need an overdose of that. So yes. But all right, question time. I know there's at least 25 of you watching. I know you've got questions. Talk to me, and we've got like 10 minutes left. I think 13 or 14. Let's have a natter. While I continue to drink. Oh, and now you've all stopped talking. What's up with that? Hang on a second. Okay, I'm on both channels. All right, so there you go. Backby wants to know, did I watch the What If Ultron episode? I did. I talked about it a little bit earlier in the show, so you'll have to rewind a little later when I'm done. Really enjoyed it. It's funny how the show is coming together. Really interestingly, the series is coming together. It is coming together. So, yes, I did. What do I think about the retro resale market these days? I think that to a lot of us, the retro resale market is something that is a way for us to reestablish and get back into, enjoy our nostalgia and go back to things that made us happy. For example, retro. Desert Strike, OG Pilot Wings, so these are games I picked up, and it's like, oh, it's $10 for that. All right, yeah, I can afford that. I'll pay that. So for somebody like me, I mean, it is great to see a lot of these games and have access to them and drop them in one of my old machines or that I've got dotted around here. Retro comes on with cassette tape. I don't have any tapes of my Spectrum stuff. That's why I use the Fuse emulator. If you look at Fuse Spectrum emulator, that's the one to get all your Spectrum games on. So yeah, I think it's great. I think when people are price gouging, they're kicking the balls. Games are art forms because games is an art form all to itself. It's a creative art, as is music, as is TV, plays, cinema, anything where you create something like that. That's an art form. It's an entertainment art form. Do I think some people are price gouging? Absolutely. Do I think some of it's absolutely ridiculous? Yes. But I mean, at the end of the day, the value of these things is determined by the value we place on them and the demand for it. This, bear with me. This copy of Cool Spot on the Sega Genesis / Mega Drive. I'll hold that up there. That's how much it cost me. $2.99. It's in there. It's got the manual. It's got the disc. It's even got the mail-in card to Virgin Games in Irvine, California. Now, to me, $2.99 is an absolute steal because I actually love the Cool Spot game. But to a lot of people, they'd be like, what the fuck's Cool Spot? I mean, there was this tie-in with 7-Up, and I mean, it was a great platformer. It was that and Earthworm Jim, I think, were two of my favorite platformers on the Genesis, on the Mega Drive. But it comes down to the value we place on stuff ourselves and the demand we create. If somebody said to me, here, I can sell you a copy of the first ever Zelda game unopened for $5,000 and you could resell it for 100,000, not interested. Because I mean, I don't have it in me to do that. Buy something just to resell it. But I wouldn't. I mean, I've got no interest in a Zelda game. If you took some of my more favorite games, like I said, Road Rash, first FIFA game on the Mega Drive, some of my old Spectrum games, whatever, or even an original Spectrum, and said, "Oh, right, well, you can have this for this amount of money," and I'm like, "It works," and it's this, that. That's where it's like something I would boot up and use and be so happy with, or I wouldn't even use and I put up on display because it means something to me. Anything I consider art or anything I consider part of my life that is worth investing in is something that means something to me. And I've curated a lot of stuff. I mean, I've got a lot of stuff here. Bear with me. So I'm going to show you this. Little Dusty, my Christmas Homer. Bought this in the UK 15 or so years ago. Can't get it anywhere. Couldn't get it in the States. Got it in the UK. Comes with a charger. You can plug in, plug it in, but it runs on batteries as well, which is great. Christmas cookie. And it's, it's a piece of plastic and little speaker, but it means the world to me because I bought it. It was one of the first things I bought with Shauna back in the day. We were in the UK. We had a great time. Reminds me of a great holiday. And it's the same with the games I buy. Anything nostalgia driven has got to have some sort of memory hook to me and remind me of a better time. So yeah, I think there's cool things that I would like to have from my youth, from my childhood, if you will, so I can have them and I can look at them and associate these memories with them. I mean, if I could have everything like that, I'd need a games room the size of a small fucking warehouse. And one day, before I go, maybe I will have a games room twice the size and all my stuff will come out. And this will be stuff that I've worked on or stuff that I've been to, friends have worked on and they've given me something at a launch party, like a cool tchotchke or something, and I can have that up, or a piece of art we bought somewhere. Hold on again. I'm going to show you this. Oh. So this I picked up in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, on a vacation with Shauna. The first vacation actually after the heart attack. And it means a lot to me. It is Alien being stabbed by a predator, because they filmed the movie Predator in the jungles of Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. And so you'll see all this amazing stuff, all this amazing Predator stuff. And I think they went back, and when they actually filmed one of the AVP movies, they did that there too. But the original Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger was filmed in the jungles of Puerto Vallarta. Schwarzenegger had his own gym built. You can actually do the Predator tour there. But again, it's I actually love the Predator movie with Schwarzenegger. I remember going to see it in the Odeon in Swansea with my friend Andre, the guy who did the Ted Lasso thing for me. But yeah, that is a reminder. That is something that's of value to me. To know it to somebody else, it's probably, it's like, oh, it's cool. But that's the thing with the retro games, for them to have any impact, it's the impact we put on them. And if you have the money and you have the memories and it's worth it, it's going to make you happy, good. But just beware, there are price gouging bastards out there who will see this. And there are people who will say, oh, well, I'm going to invest in this retro games market. I'm going to buy up a whole bunch of old video games, and then I'm going to charge, oh, look, I've got a copy of the first Sonic the Hedgehog game with the Sega Genesis, and I'm going to sell it for $500 a pop. And then I'm just going to, realize that the game came free with every fucking Sega Genesis. And I'm like, oh, I'm fucked. Cool. I'll need to get the cough medicine out today. Yeah, so that's my view on it. Thank you. Great question. Great question. Let's see. Brian Dooley is an interesting thought. I would love to see the back of the back catalogs of games continue to get re-releases on current generations. Yeah, look, I mean, we've had this discussion. I believe that, so, and Microsoft and Nintendo and Sony and Sega releasing official emulator, whether I'm not just talking apps for their fucking smartphones and iPads, they don't fucking work. Give me a way to run them on a console or on a PC with a controller, and then market me a proper 6-button Sega controller, which I still think the European 6-button Sega controller is still hands down the greatest controller in the history of video games. I will fight, even in my fucking riddled state, I will fight anybody who disagrees, because you play NHL 96, I think it is, or you play RoboCop v Terminator with any other controller on the Genesis, bar those ones. The diagonals are so perfect and the 6 buttons work so well. It's the creme de la creme de la creme. And I tried the US versions. I was like, God bless you, America, you tried. European versions, for some reason, they pop. They pop. But yes, I want to see these emulators come out. Do it for Commodore 64 and the Amiga. Let's look at getting Zork and some of these games done. Hell, go back and get, give us access to these games. I mean, a lot of them will not work in that. And when I say they will not work, they will run probably, in the right emulator, but they'll be a bag of shit. I mean, Asheron's Call, the first MMO I ever played on the PC. Loved that game. But I know if I went back to it today, it would stink to high heaven, as would City of Heroes, because the gameplay is so limited. Even for an MMO, the graphics are so bad. but I'd have my nostalgia for 10 minutes, and then I'd go, oh, fuck, not anymore. Star Wars Galaxies is another one. I mean, even Enter the Matrix online game. I mean, you just look at, the chance to be able to play some of these games, have your little fill, and come back. And the key is that these machines, these consoles that we're having now are so powerful, you could put emulators on them so that any game can be ported up. Or not even ported, uploaded. Because it works within the emulator system. You don't have to make any changes. The OS can be put inside its own little emulator, put out there as an app, and then the games can run within that. You disable the DRM checks, or you disable the disk checks, whatever you want to call it. And that's the way it works. That is the simplified way it works from somebody who's not a software engineer. And all over the world, software engineers are saying, shut up, Welshman, you know nothing. And they're probably right. But in my head, that's the way it works. So, in fact, I'm going to, Mukwanbo, I'll talk about yours in a second. Yes, apparently Acclaim is coming back. I saw that tweet this morning. There's an announcement coming. Now, there's a retro game company that I'm not sure if. Well, I mean, they brought Mortal Kombat to the UK. I mean, UK and Europe. Acclaim. Simon Smith Wright. That was the PR guy, I think, for Acclaim back in the mid-90s. Very nice guy. And Acclaim had so much money to spend. I remember one summer I got to see True Lies and Batman Forever press screenings long before they came out, because Acclaim had the licenses to them. I remember, and this is how these things trigger memories that trigger memories that trigger memories. The Batman Forever screening was followed by a launch party where I was there with my good friend Rick Henderson, who still writes, and actually he's a video games journalist. He just started he just started a podcast where he talks to people in the industry. R-I-K, that's what he spells Rick Henderson. You should look it up. Liverpool fan, great journalist, British lad. He's been around forever. Worked on Games World and Games Master with me back in the day. And we went to this launch party. The games were atrocious. The Batman games from Acclaim were absolutely ridiculous. But we went to these amazing parties, got absolutely toasted, and watched the movie. And it was the first Joel Schumacher movie, and it was actually quite okay before the horrible Batman and Robin. Yeah, so it just shows how these random things go. But yes, Acclaim spent so much money on tchotchkes and this, that, and the other, and threw huge parties. And the games, I mean, they had Mortal Kombat. I'm trying to think what else they had was actually any good. I don't think they had actually that much. And it was no wonder that they kind of ended up going belly up. So, yes. All right. So, yeah, sorry, Acclaim memories. Random. So, check out Rick's podcast. Why do you think it's so hard to make a great rugby game? There's a Tour de France game, for God's sake. There hasn't been a great game since John Loman Rugby. Yes, I totally agree with you. The problem is with rugby games, much like FIFA and everything else, everybody tries to overcomplicate it. And they generally end up parceling it out to dev teams who, to be honest, don't understand rugby. John Loman Rugby was good, not great. But it did a lot right. Rugby is simple. You make sure that the viewpoint is behind your team so you can see you're attacking. Anytime where the camera switches around, fuck that. I want to be behind my team. Make that a permanent setting. Every controller has these buttons. Bumper 1, right bumper, short pass, trigger, long pass for the right, ditto for the left. Then when you're tackle in the direction, grubber kick, chip kick, dummy, so on and so forth. But people over complicate. And it's almost as if they have people involved who don't have any fucking clue about rugby. They'll sign a name and put that on there, but it'll be a disaster. So, yes, before I die, I am available, companies of the world, to be a consultant on your rugby game. I am available. Hit me up. We can make the best rugby game ever. Rest in peace, John Lomo. Amazing player. Gone way too soon. Oh, sorry. Ooh, like I said, this is Henderson, Rick Henderson, Hend, as in Harry and the Hendersons. All right. Okay, more questions. Who's got what? Wasn't this supposed to be? There's been a Turok movie in the works for donkey's years. Oh, look, I removed the alien. See, isn't that great? See, look at the first. Oh, there you go. Oh, and now it's like that. And oh, look at that. Isn't that cool? And this only cost me like $10. Have I had a chance to watch Midnight Mass? So Shauna wants to watch Midnight Mass. I'm not fussed about it. I watched the trailer, and it's by the guy who did The Haunting of Hill House, which Shauna really liked, and The Haunting of Bly Manor, which also she really liked. I tried watching it, the first episode of that Hill House thing. I just, not my cup of tea, man. So I've told her to go ahead and watch it. We did watch the first 2 episodes of Foundation. We haven't watched episode 3, which it did drop. They're obviously going for epic in scale. I did feel that there's a lot of potential in there. I just hope that it doesn't. It kind of felt Dune-ish to me, and it also kind of felt Phantom Menace-y without the lightsabers or the Force. They're building up a lot of stuff, and the key is they've got to have some payoff sooner rather than later to hook people back in, so to keep people hooked in. So I'm looking forward to watching episode 3. Probably do that this weekend. What we did watch last night was The Many Saints of Newark, which, if anybody is a Sopranos fan, will know that this is the long-awaited prequel. And I was never a huge Soprano watcher. I watched some of the later seasons, but I watched this last night with my good wife. First half, kind of just felt blah and undercooked and just waiting for something to happen. The second half of the movie picks up exponentially with the introduction of Michael Gandolfini, who's James Gandolfini's son. He obviously plays young Tony Soprano, and he's great. I mean, the actors are great all the way through, all the actors. But when you see him and how much he looks like his father and how he carries off that character, really enjoyable second half of the film. And I would love for it to actually become, if they wanted to make a prequel series to The Sopranos, the followed on is set in the 70s with young Tony Soprano, young with Michael Gandolfini and the cast that they have lined up and how they come together as a crew. That would be very interesting to me. Very enjoyable. I'd watch that. Windswept Dragon, I would say watch this movie first and then go watch the thing, because this is the prequel. So you could watch this through, and then you'll actually have a lot of the references that they do make later on. You will go, okay. Obviously, if you've watched the entire seasons of The Sopranos, it works in that. Oh, okay, that was what they mentioned there. But the other thing is that you perhaps have already got an established idea in your head of what that person looked like or whatever. But I would definitely say watch The Many Saints of Newark first, and then go watch The Sopranos if that's your bag. Maybe. You are very welcome, my dear. Like I said, the first season was really good. Still haven't finished the second. I have to go and go and watch this. Let's see. Okay. Oh, McWomble, I'm just going to send my love to you, my friend. So yes, I've never sold a house because obviously this is the house we're in is our first house and we bought it 10 years ago. Didn't buy our first house until I hit 40. Um, Never had the stress of selling a house, but the stressful jobs thing can really fucking relate there. So fingers crossed that you sell the house, you get the price you want, and you can get into your new home, and your jobs become way less special. Way less special, way less stressful. All right. Safety is off mentions that the Last of Us picture that HBO tweeted. Um, it was the back of the two characters' heads, and it was a nice sunny day, and something was happening in the picture in the foreground. It basically gave nothing away. Um, yeah, I've got no feelings about it. I mean, I liked The Last of Us, the first one. I never played the second one. I do have it sitting here somewhere, but it just never got round to it, which is probably heresy. But I like the first one. I think got a lot of time for what that team does. I'll be interested to see what happens with it. I will be. Okay. Well, I gotta say, Stage Select, congratulations. It's always a big achievement owning your first home, your own home. It's something that has become more and more difficult over the decades. I mean, I know me and my wife bought this house a good 15 years after my parents or my mum had her first house. Well, that's just the way it is. Maybe even 20 years. Because that's just the way it goes. I mean, and it's not even a good thing. It's like the price of houses goes up because we're running out of real estate because the country's getting more populated, and the wages aren't going up to match it because the laws and the rules are being bent towards the Bezoses of this world, who in turn don't pay the income tax to allow us to build more affordable housing. And let's face it, we're heading for a fucking crash. We're really heading for a fucking crash. I'm not talking about property prices. I am talking about this planet is going to tell us to F off. She is in a lot of ways already. These storms and this weather, it's only going to get worse. And honestly, my biggest fear is leaving my wife. When I go, this world is going to go to shit and she's going to be there. And I know she's going to not be alone. She's going to have friends. She may meet somebody else. And I hope she does because I don't want her to be alone when the shit really does hit the fan. Any tattoos? No, never had a tattoo. I have at the best of times, I've had a needle phobia, which I've got over somewhat because I've spent the last 4 years giving more blood, so much blood. In fact, I think I should have a faucet put in and just go, here, help yourself. I've been pricked and prodded and poked. But yeah, no interesting one. No interesting one. Yeah, I'm seeing lucky. I mean, I just feel for anybody who's trying to buy a house right now. It's fucking brutal. I mean, we got lucky. We got lucky with our house. I mean, we bought our house, like I said, a decade ago, and it's doubled in value. And it wasn't cheap to begin with. So at least, we keep the wolf from the door. We keep the roof over our heads. Yes, life insurance. Ironically, the I was tested. We were getting life insurance about 5 years ago, and 6 years ago, and they rejected me because they said I had a history of heart problems in the family. So just as well, really. But I can't get house. Yeah, so anything I do and I make from the Patreon or from consulting or whatever, all these tchotchkes and stuff, I've got to start documenting, cataloging, figuring out how to get them on some of them on eBay. because even though I love having them in my life, and I do, they bring memories. This is, so hopefully something that my wife can liquidate and help when I'm gone. All right. Please give us some wishes for the Russell T Davies Doctor Who revival. Just make it good. The great thing was that the first time around, he cast great actors, and there have been great actors in Who every time. And he took a different spin at it, where he made it more of a family drama. And he created a whole universe, a Whoverse, if you will, and that got left behind by the showrunners who followed. He's going to have to hopefully retcon the shitty Chris Chibnall era. And it's tough. It's tough for Jodie Whittaker, who is a fine actress, who deserves to have some good writing in front of her. But yeah, Doctor Who, just make it good again. Make it good again. I don't care who you cast. Just make it good. Make the right thing, not so preachy. So, with my health issues, are you tempted to turn for the UK for the free healthcare? No, because I know from family and friends how long it takes to get looked at by the doctors there. I know the healthcare is free, but the system's so overburdened and underfunded. Thank you, Tory government, and your Brexit bullshit. £350 million a week going to the NHS, my ass. The people who put that bus together and that advertising campaign together should be locked away in jail and punched in the dick every day for the rest of their sad lives. I would probably be heading for death on a much quicker rate if I lived in the UK. I am lucky that where I am in Southern California, got one of the best prostate cancer specific research facilities here, and the doctor is great. Yes, we're paying for it. That sucks, but we're not paying as much as we should, as we could, because they are funded and it is research. So, yeah, if I'd have been living in the UK when I had my heart attack, I'd probably be dead, because 6 minutes, boom, paramedics were here. I've seen the wait times for the ambulances, and I love the NHS. Anybody who works in the NHS, I love those people so much. I love that system so much. But for urgent care, they're so overtaxed and underappreciated. Okay. Next question. Yeah, so make it good. That's the whole thing for Russell T Davies. I look, the 50th anniversary special was one of my favorites. It really was. I thought it had enough nods to the past. I mean, it did actually kind of have in the Zygons one of the weaker bad guys, but it was refreshing not to have the Daleks in a big woo, so it made it a little more intimate. So yes, I really did like I think that's one of the best episodes that Moffat wrote, and I thought Tennant and Matt Smith worked really well together in the introduction of Capaldi's eyebrows, and of course Tom Baker at the end. Who knows? That got me welling up, because he is without a doubt the greatest Doctor in my opinion, because he was my Doctor growing up. So yes, if Russell T can pull together a great 60th anniversary, whether it's one episode or 3 specials that have multiple Doctors coming together for something really cool, I'm in. McWomble, have I seen No Time to Die? No, it's not out here yet. It's out here next week. So no spoilers. I'm avoiding spoilers and reviews like crazy. So, yeah. Okay. Wow, I've been going for an hour and 20. When was the last time I had a fan meetup? Safety is off says. Good God. I remember we did a PAX panel and Invisible Wall for Invisible Walls on a Night Gamer. That was fun. I can't remember. I mean, it's just random. Uh, Obviously, since I've sort of like been off game trailers, the interacting with people that are actual fans at these events become less and less because people tend to forget about you, understandably. And there's a whole new generation of influencers and streamers who are doing such amazing stuff that, whew, just down here out of the way. I remember I was home with Shauna Christmas about 5 or 6 years. Oh no, it's probably 6 or 7 years ago. I was in Cardiff, gone to meet my friend Andrea again, and we come out of one of the shopping centres in Cardiff, and somebody said, "Hey, aren't you Marcus Beer?" I'm like, "Yes." And I said, "I watch your game trailers. I love your stuff." I thought that was just the most random thing, and it was so nice to be home and to have that happen. I was like, "Wow, thank you." I'm always kind of humbled by that. And I think somebody saw if somebody asked if I'm going to be traveling again. No plans to travel soon. I can't take a booster. Even I'm lucky I got the Moderna shot, which means I should be okay from COVID. But I can't have a booster. Shauna's had the booster, thankfully, because she's on Pfizer. We did have plans before the diagnosis to travel to Nassau for my very good friend's wedding in November. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen now because the wedding's obviously going to happen, and I'm just gutted I'm not going to be there. But I can't go. I can't go because I can't get on a plane for that long, and they're in the red zone. I know we're in the red zone as well, but it's not safe for me to go. Not while I'm battling this, and my immune system's all over the place. God, a little dry. So, yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that by E3 time next year, I'm in a place where where I can still tootle around and I can still go to. The COVID is under control enough, and we have some administrations and some governments in the key places, both at local and national level, who've got a handle on it and are forcing those who don't want to get vaccinated to basically stay home, house arrest. If you don't want to get vaccinated and you don't have a valid medical reason, house arrest for the rest of your life. That's it. But I can't earn a wage. Tough shit. But I'm going to die. Well, there you go. Save you. Rather you die than you kill other people like me. Yeah. So if E3 happens next year, it'd be lovely to go out and do E3 and stroll on the floor and say hi to people, go to parties and sit and just be the grand old man. Sit with Michael Pachter. Miss that man. Anyway, so yes, I'm out. It is time for me to. I've been standing for 90 minutes, so this counts as exercise, which is great. But I need to go on. Sit down. Thank you so much, Bully009. Thank you. Safety is off. Everybody, it's so good to catch up with you. Sorry, like I said, I couldn't do yesterday or last week. I will be back next Friday. Oh, King Ding 2. Too late. Yes. Literally, I've been going for almost 90 minutes. But it's all going to be up there on the stream. And if you want to catch up with me in the Discord, you have the Discord access. So, and this is the part of the show where I shill like crazy. I do have a Patreon. I will put that caption up right now. Let's see. There you go. There's the Patreon. The lowest two levels, or the basic level is $3 a month, and you can get access to the Discord where I pop in and out. We have chats and people sharing stuff, and some of it's mildly embarrassing actually, and some of it's quite fun. And then you've got the 6, where it should entitle you to an extra show, which has been kind of on hold recently. And then you've got the 3rd tier, which is the one that comes with the mug. I think I'm up to 5 or 6 people who subscribed for this one now, who will be getting their mugs very soon when Patreon have decided that they've spent enough money. But yes, the immortal mug that since my diagnosis has taken on such a unique limited edition. I mean, when I die, this Patreon will end and you will not be able to get these mugs anymore. So literally, you could be one of maybe 10, 20 people on the planet to have this fucking mug. I mean, I'm leaving this to Shauna. I might even get a couple more ordered and sign them. So, I don't know. Anyway, thank you so much for your support as always. Thanks for being so understanding. I'm going to try and be back on Friday. Let me know on Twitter and in the comments what you want to talk about. Back for Blood's coming. Got so much to talk about with that game. I'm out. Be good. Cheers.